Hi, this is Graphically Alex coming at you with all things fat related. So today I wanted to actually look at fat TikTok, fat talk, fat acceptance TikTok. I thought that it would be kind of interesting to do it as a person that is also fat and just see where I agree, where I disagree, etc. So the first topic that we're going to look into is actually a TikTok about fatness within friendships. And I want to go ahead and break it down.
So here's the thing. Fat people are not the supporting cast in the little movie that is your life.
So already what I want to point out is a lot of these fat activists, they constantly refer to life as a movie or things within media. They're very, very, very media obsessed as a group of people. Now, let me just pose the question to you guys. Who do you think controls the media? And is that something we should be skeptical of? My self-esteem pretty much shot up when I stopped watching TV. It's something to think about.
We're not your mommy.
Girl, are we talking about like who you're dating or are we talking about friends?
We're not your therapist either.
I myself, I'm extremely feminine, I'm gay, I'm the whole shebang. So I tend to think much more like a woman than a man. I know within female friendships, a lot of female friendship is venting to each other. It's always something that should be balanced. You know, many of us have dealt with one of our friends talking about an ex for like months, okay, over and over again. There's a lot of repetition, there's a lot of this stuff, but it's okay. Because good friends understand it and we're all fine. And we also know that we're probably going to need that friend at a later point, no matter what. No shame in it, no problem. Now, for her to say that outright, it makes me feel like she doesn't want to hear about other people's issues or problems. She just wants to talk about her own, which...
We're not your little wingman at the bar you can abandon as soon as you find some dick.
That one sounded very personal to me, like it's something she's been through before. And if that's the case, girl, like, get new friends. That's not a good friend that would do that to you. So, most of you guys are going out with the intention of getting the D, at which case you talked about it beforehand. I mean, if you strike out, I guess Uber home, I wouldn't know. I don't live like that.
We're not your stylists. We're not going to go to the mall with you and only visit stores that carry clothes in your size.
Who the hell is this friend that you're talking about? Because I can't even in any way, shape, or form with any of the friends that I have, I cannot even imagine them having an issue with going to another clothing store that I wanted to go to.
And we're happy to have you in our little movies. But if you want to be in them, here's what you're gonna do.
Do not be throwing other fat people into whatever the hell you're saying. If she told me, you can be my friend if blah, blah, and blah, girl, you ain't, you are nothing, okay? You are nothing to me. I could leave you on the side of the road. I would just stop listening instantly. Or I'd start being like, I'd just be like, you know, at this point in my life, I'm enough of a bitch where I would just cut her off and I'd be like, girl, you don't even need to finish that sentence. I don't fucking care. I don't care enough. I have other things going on. I have other people to talk to. So if you're going to put all this BS out there, by all means, I'll make it easy for you. Bye, girl.
Educate yourself on fat politics and fat liberation.
Stop it. Ew! What is that? In order to be my friends, you have to pass a political litmus test. If you don't want to talk to me because I'm a Trump supporter, it's fine. I don't need you in my life. And that's not to say any shade to anybody who thinks differently. I have friends all across the spectrum. I don't buy into this hyper politicized BS. We are not all a monolith.
Actively ask us about our dumb little crushes and love interests.
They're not gonna ask you if you're always talking about yourself. I'm gonna be honest, okay?
When you ask us to dinner, choose a restaurant with accessible seating.
Okay, this is probably like one of the only points she's gonna have in this whole TikTok. Yes, if you are friends with somebody who is like, you know, 250 pounds plus, it can be a struggle sometimes to fit in a restaurant. Let them sit in a booth, let us sit in a booth, let us, you know, sit on a sturdy chair. For me, I really hate those high-rise seats. I think because I'm fat and tall, it just feels really awkward, and I'm always terrified that the chair is gonna collapse or something. Not in every single situation, but most of the time I hate that. But I have good friends, we're cool, but you just gotta advocate for yourself as a fat person and just be like, can we move? Can we sit somewhere else? It can be embarrassing, but don't live in this delusion that you're not fat if you're fat.
Provide accessible seating in your own home. Advocate for your fat friends whenever you can, and remember, friendship is reciprocal.
You need to advocate for yourself as a fat person. It is your responsibility to do so. It is, of course, nice and wonderful if your friends do when it's appropriate, unless if it can be embarrassing or something. Like, I know for me, if somebody was fatphobic to me, I wouldn't necessarily want my friend to like get up and do like a standing match or shouting match with them, and you know, it could make the situation more embarrassing. But I would appreciate it if my friend just whispered to me and was like, oh my gosh, that person was such a fucking asshole, like what the fuck. Just having that little bit of support, that would help a situation a lot. Like sometimes when you're in a situation like that, it just helps to know that somebody's on your side. We're gonna go ahead and move on to another TikTok. This one was something I've wanted to talk about a while. It has to do with the idea of grieving over your thin self.
This is a reminder to take your medicine. But anyway, I want to talk about what it's like to be a fat person grieving the idea of a thin version of you. So trigger warning, I'm going to be talking about fat phobia, eating disorders, and maybe some other stuff. But anyway, as fat people, we are sold this narrative that we are not complete people. To the rest of the world, we are a before picture. We are an inconvenience. We are desexualized and, for fat women especially, defeminized.
So right here, I don't think she understands that a lot of this is in her head. A lot of this is in her head. Maybe it was put there by certain media, or, you know, like I said, which, think about who controls the media, right? Things like Disney, for example. I think what a lot of these people don't understand is that most people, they're dealing with their own insecurities at the same time that you're dealing with yours, or even if you're in your 20s, it's the same. People are just as insecure across the board, really. People are still trying to find themselves, regardless of if they're thin or fat. So I think it's important to understand that we're never as alone as we think we are.
We are a thin person trapped in a fat body. We are constantly sold this narrative that we are in limbo. I mean, think about it. How many movies or TV shows or books have you seen or read that revolved around a character losing weight? People even refer to weight loss as a journey.
A lot of people feel that way as a fat person. You feel like, if I can just get thin, then I can live my life. If I can just get thin, then I can do what I want to do. If I can just get thin, then I can really express myself. And this idea of an ideal version of you is not limited to just fat people. It can be that way with the gay issue, for example. A lot of gay people feel that there is an ideal straight person or straight version of themselves, or really anything else. It could even just be, you know, a person feeling like if they were more outgoing, or if they were a good singer, or if they were whatever, right? This idea of an ideal self is not limited to any particular group of people. This is a universal thing that a lot of people, especially young people, have to deal with. And what I will say to all of you is throw it out. There is no ideal you. You are you today, right now. Look at yourself in the moment. You don't have to do anything to be yourself. You don't have to do anything to sustain being yourself. Being yourself is natural. If I turn off every light in this room, I am myself. If I sit in darkness, I am myself. If I lay catatonic in bed, I am myself. You don't have to do any particular effort for anybody, and that includes a fat person. So you do not have to feel this way. Throw it out. You're not the thin you, you're not the fat you, you're just you. You are you. So live your life today. Don't think about it. I will tell you, as somebody who is losing weight currently, it is not helpful to think about the thin me. I am comfortable with the idea of a thin me, but I don't obsess over it and I don't think about it. It's something that I experience on a daily basis as my body changes, and I just experience my body and who I am every passing day.
When fat people are talking about fighting for basic rights and respect, we're told that if we don't like it, to just lose weight.
I don't know what basic rights she's saying that we don't have as fat people. I don't see any difference in rights on a legal basis between me and somebody who is thin. If she's talking about more social issues, I could understand, or if she's talking about things like gravity, you can't say that that's a law or that's something that you're fighting for justice. That's ridiculous. I'm going to be honest. But if it's more social, every single person has to fight for themselves socially. Unfortunately, we have a very, very toxic crabs in a bucket culture in a lot of places, especially in the West. It is very, very crabs in a bucket mentality. So it does not matter if you are thin or skinny or black or white or gay or straight or anything. You have to fight for yourself. It sucks. I want things to change. I'm trying to change it. But socially, there are a lot of issues for all of us. We all have to do this. So don't sell the narrative that just because you're thin, you're not going to have to fight for yourself anymore. That's not true. In fact, you may have to fight for yourself even more, which is not something to deter you, but it's something to just realize and understand and accept.
Because our personhood, our lives, our personalities, our passions aren't relevant to society unless we are thin or actively trying to become thin.
I can say that this is completely untrue. I have experienced the exact opposite of this. I know a lot of fat people in my life, and people do care about our experiences. If I didn't care about your experience, as a complete stranger to me, someone I've never met, I would not be watching what you're saying. You get viewership on what you're talking about, and you are a fat person. So you are pushing very harmful narratives yourself on fat people, although you're also claiming to help fat people. And this is where I believe a lot of these fat talk people are very abusive people. There's something a little off.
I remember once in treatment for my eating disorder, we did this super traumatic activity where we had to write down a long list of things we wanted to do, achieve, or accomplish in our lifetimes. And then the group leader said, now cross out all of the activities that would require you to lose weight. And for me, that was quite a few. She was trying to make the point to people that you don't have to lose weight to achieve your goals. And for thin people that aren't gatekept from society because of their weight, that's true. But it didn't occur to this thin therapist that there might be a fat person in the room with a different lived experience. I did that activity 3 years ago and I still think about it because I'm always reminding myself that the things that I'm not allowed to do or don't have access to because of my fatness are not my fault.
This is where we get into a lot of the extreme toxicity of this person. So the fact is, your fatness is your fault. There is really nothing else it could be. If you are putting the food in your mouth, then you are gaining the weight. It doesn't matter what else you think is going on. The law of thermodynamics exists. There can, of course, be hormonal issues, but whose responsibility is it to deal with those hormonal issues? Is it society's or is it yours? Just because there are certain things that do not set people up for success in society does not mean that you have to hold your breath and wait for things to get better, for you to take control of your health and of your life. That is ridiculous. The other part of that shows me that she's toxic is how she ruminates about this experience 3 years later. That is crazy. I have been through some of the most horrific breakups, friendship breakups. I've been thrown under the bus. I've gone through extremely abusive situations in my life. I have dealt with living in a situation where I was in an abusive home, where I didn't know if I was going to face physical harm or not. I've been through really hellish experiences over the past 5 or 6 years on many, many levels. And I don't think about it all the time because I've let go. If I can let go of that, I think you can let go of one class, one therapy session.
I am not responsible for the ways other people treat me and how they gatekeep me from simple parts of life. I don't know a single fat person who hasn't thought, I'll do or wear that thing once I'm thin. Because we are taught that we are a before photo, that we cannot be authentically fat. Because according to them, deep down, there's a thin person just fighting to get out. I feel like our society pushes me to be one of two things. I can either be constantly happy and positive about my body, or I can hate myself and try to lose weight.
This is a logical fallacy. It's like a false dichotomy or a false choice. There are many other choices besides loving your body all the time and hating your body and trying to lose weight. There's such a thing as body neutrality, which a lot of people talk about in this movement, but it seems like they don't actually practice what they preach, which I guess join the club. I'm very neutral about my body. I don't love or hate it. I just accept it as it is today. And I move forward and I try to connect with my body. I try not to have such a mind-body disconnect. And that has been extremely healing to me as a person. And I feel very grounded in reality and grounded within my body now, more than I ever have in my life. This is what I believe is the way forward for most fat people. Most fat people have a very extreme gap or divide between their mind and their body, their heart and their body. Our bodies give us information all the time and we need to listen. And so I just hope that she figures this out, because this is insane. To love your body is to take care of your body. To take care of your body is to do what's best. To do what's best is to lose weight if you have to. It's not even just about the weight. It's about correcting hormonal issues, taking the proper diet steps, and eating a proper amount of calories to improve your health in the best way that you can. Because if you truly love your body, you will do what it takes to take care of it. And if you take care of it, it will take care of you. And you will feel better. You will not feel as depressed. You will not feel as unconfident. And it's very sad that a lot of people are not taught this at all.
But I am a whole, complete person. I am allowed to have conflicting emotions. I can respect and nourish my body and hold anger and resentment towards how others treat me.
Holding on to anger and resentment is extremely toxic. It is very, very, very bad for you and for your body. Because if you hold on to anger and resentment, it is like a poison. It is horrible. Many, many spiritual and religious practices enforce this idea that it is very bad for you to hold on to anger. So I would actually say that is a horrible thing to do. There is nothing wrong with feeling anger. There is nothing wrong with even expressing anger when it's necessary. But to hold on to it is extremely toxic.
And I think that anger is an important part of my self-respect because it means I'm no longer blaming my body for just existing.
I agree with being a full human person, but you should never have blamed your body anyways because you're the one that feeds your body. You're the one that's in control. Your body is not 100% in control of the situation. So even if your body doesn't like the caustic seed oils and alcohol and these types of things that are likely leading you to have hormonal issues, you're still going to eat it because you want to. If you do that, then even if your body doesn't like it, it doesn't have a choice. So it never is your body's fault. It's your fault, or it's the fault of being miseducated. But at the end of the day, it's all up to you and it's all in your control. So that's all I have to say about these two. It was a wild ride. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you like this, please do like it. Please subscribe. I'm going to be doing a lot more of this type of content on this channel. And I hope that you guys have a great rest of your day.